Once upon a time, I had psychosis and it resulted in cognitive impairments. Things like focus, holding attention, recalling memory, processing information, understanding language all became incredibly difficult. And one of the hardest losses for me was my reading comprehension. It was so hard having to relearn how to read, something that I used to love and consider one of my favorite hobbies. It felt like something I would never get back, but in continuing the effort and practicing and practicing and practicing, I was able to read again. And I found that reading is actually one of the greatest tools for recovering cognitive abilities. It has gone a long way in allowing me to recall memory and have focus and attention and to understand and process information. So I've started this book series in an effort to not only improve my cognitive abilities, but hopefully to encourage you to improve yours too. Join me as we improve our cognitive skills together, one book at a time. Now, today's book is one that I really enjoyed. It's called Minds Over Meetings by Kody Green, who goes by Schizophrenic Hippie online. He's a mental health advocate and content creator, but he is so much more than that. He's also a wonderful public speaker, and I've had the pleasure of getting to see him speak at a conference once before, and I also got to meet him. I found that he's a really genuine, friendly, empathetic, caring guy, which really comes across in his book. Minds Over Meetings is a practical guide for navigating mental health in the workplace for employees and employers alike. It has amazing resources. It has a lot of really great experiences, both negative and positive, from himself and others, going through all of the challenges to be faced in the workplace, all of the ways it can be improved, the ways that employers can help employees, and how employees can get the accommodations and resources they need, and it really covers all the bases. So my initial impression of this book is that it's really clean. Like, it's very clearly communicated, and Kody uses very understandable language. It's something that I think anyone could really grasp onto. It's something that I think speaks to a really large audience, something that can be relatable for people who may or may not have mental health concerns. I think it's a wonderful resource for anyone going into a job or trying to maintain a job. I don't think you necessarily have to have mental illness or mental health concerns to relate and benefit from this book. The layout is beautiful, so cleanly organized. Kody breaks down key features, key points of information in these really nicely laid out boxes, and it just kind of concisely sums up whatever point he's making in that paragraph. He also offers a lot of resources and statistics and information that are all referenced. I don't know if you can see that there, but there is a link to, one of the resources that he utilizes. I think it's wonderful that he plugs in these references all throughout the book. I think this makes the flow of the book much smoother. I think it keeps the pacing moving along. I don't feel that there's ever a dull moment or a moment that drags in reading this book. I feel that it flows in a way that you just keep flipping the pages over and over again, and before you know it, you're like 3 chapters deep. The chapters are pretty concise, but they pack a lot in each chapter, and each chapter is like so vastly different from each other. There are so many things to go over, and he hits all of them. As I said before, Kody is a really caring, compassionate guy, and I think that really comes through in his approach, in the way that he kind of speaks to the audience and relates his own experiences. I think the approach of talking to others in this understanding, empathetic way neither demonizes nor glorifies anyone. There's never a point in the book that he condemns people who mistreated him in the workforce. Rather, he seeks to understand, and he understands that they may have a lack of education or they may be ignorant to mental health concerns. And for that, he never, condemns them. He instead looks at it as an opportunity to educate. An example of how he sees these interactions with the people in his workplace that stigmatized him is seen on page 33, in which he says, knowing that I was not combating real anger toward people with mental health issues, but ignorance and a lack of knowledge on the issues on the topic, made me feel much more able to start conversations and speak up when I knew I could provide more insight. This was never confrontational, but was just making sure that they had additional data and information while they considered a situation with a coworker who may have FMLA for mental illness or someone needing to leave early due to an unforeseen mental health issue. Many people don't understand how common mental health issues are. Some people I spoke to didn't even realize that some symptoms, including physical symptoms, that they themselves had in the past could be due to declining mental health. I don't know that I would respond that way. I feel that if I were to hear people in my workplace, and I have, hear people talk in a stigmatizing, ableist, sanist way, I wouldn't speak up. I would probably be angry and carry that anger with me all the way home. And for Kody to speak up on behalf of people, I think that's really noble. And I've seen him act that way in person. Now, getting right down to it, let's talk about the parts I found to be really valuable personally, which are the tools he lays out for people in the position of trying to get and keep a job with mental health concerns. There are so many questions that I have had myself going into a job. I have now gotten my first job since becoming disabled 11 years ago, and it's wow, like it's it's a lot. Okay, and now I'm working full time, which I didn't really ask for. My boss just kept increasing my hours without saying anything, and then I didn't say anything, and I haven't known this entire time what to do. I didn't know at what point to tell anyone about my disability. I didn't, until reading this book, know that I even could disclose that information. Kody answered every single question that I've had this entire time, and I wish I had read this book like right when I started or even before getting the job, because I could have avoided a lot of unnecessary strife if I'd known what he has to say. He goes over when you should disclose having a mental illness, who you should go to talk about that. He talks about different programs in place to help people with mental illness, like EAPs, which are employee assistance programs, and FMLA, the Family Medical Leave Act. I mean, I'm no expert, but he really knows his stuff. He actually went to school for HR to become an HR manager, and he knows pretty much all the ins and outs possible. There are things you could ask for as accommodations that I would never have thought of, like being able to work from home or being able to adjust your hours or schedule, things that I know could really benefit me. He also goes over some concerns that I have seen myself personally struggle with, that I didn't even know I was struggling with. He talks about masking, how people can mask their symptoms of mental illness and how that can lead to burnout. He talks about what burnout is and how to prevent or recover from burnout. He talks about a lot of issues that I'm even going through right now that I now know how to handle because of this book. This book could not have possibly come at a better time in my life, because I am currently in a position with my job where I am burning out and I need help, and I have been scared to ask for it, and now I know what to do, right? And I can feel confident in knowing what to do because he shares his lived experience having gone through this. He talks about what has and hasn't worked for him, the trials and errors that he stumbled through so that people like me don't have to. One thing that I really appreciate is that not only does he go over these obstacles, he offers solutions. There are entire chapters just on self care and having care teams. Two things that I heavily rely on, or at least try to, because I'm not the best at self care. I didn't know that there are pillars to self care, and he goes over them: physical, environmental, emotional, mental, social, spiritual, and professional. And he talks about how he has employed self-care with these pillars, ways that you can. I really liked his chapter about caregiving. I can really relate to having a spouse that cares for you. I can really relate to even having a care team made up of your coworkers, because I fortunately do have coworkers that do look out for me, who are aware of my mental conditions and have checked in on me at times when they were aware I was not okay. I personally shout out to Alex and Curtis for that. I know that no one's going to know who they are, but just in case they're watching. I really liked this one quote by him that I think stands out as my favorite thing he's written in the entire book, because it's so genuine, like so heartfelt. He says, "You are not weak for needing help. You are not less of a person. You are not a failure. You are not alone in what you are feeling, and you might be surprised how many people struggle in similar ways. I can tell you from personal experience that allowing people to help takes a lot of pressure off worrying about other people knowing that you are struggling, and makes it easier to focus on healing. Having a care team can be vital for effectively managing mental health issues, as it provides comprehensive, personalized, and continuous support, advocates for necessary accommodations, and helps reduce feelings of isolation and overwhelm." I feel a lot better having read that, and I feel a lot more confident that I can go to people for help when I need it, especially on days like the other day at work where I was crying and one of my coworkers actually helped me finish my tasks because he knew that I was struggling with my mental health. It's really helpful. The final section is to the employers, and this is so valuable. He's worked with a lot of businesses, corporations, etc., and he's seen firsthand what works and what doesn't work. And he's clearly stated in the book that what works is supporting mental health in the workplace, that businesses can really, really benefit from offering programs and having like awareness events and resources available to employees, that not only do they retain their employees at a higher rate with less turnover, they also improve performance and efficiency and everything to do with running a, like well-run business. Can you imagine like having this told to you that your business could be improved greatly if you would just address this one thing, and saying no to that? So I'm really glad that he has an entire section to employers to say, this is what you can do, this is what works, this is the evidence, this is the proof, these are the statistics, and you can see for yourself the benefits of learning about mental health, mental illness, and utilizing supports in the workplace. Anyway, there's so much more packed into this book. I think I would probably go on for another hour if I touched on everything, but those were the components that I really resonated with the most, that like I got the most out of. I also just want to give a moment to recognize the really cool sections he had with Gabe Howard and Michelle Hammer, who are also mental health advocates, and their experiences, how he got like a wide breadth of experiences for this book, both negative and positive, with their success stories described at the end to kind of end it on a high note. It was a really great book. It was really, honestly, like a quick read for me because I was so engaged. Normally, I'm not super duper into stuff like this. Like, I have not worked for 11 years until the job I have right now. And I never thought I would work again. But it came into my life at just the right time. It's exactly what I needed. And for anyone in my position who's trying to get back into the workforce after like a really long period of disability, this is a gold mine. This is everything I needed in one book. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. So thank you for sticking around for this book review for Psychosis Recovery Book Club. Again, this is my effort to improve my cognitive abilities one book at a time. And this is my second month of the book club. And I am really starting to pick up the pace with reading again. It's becoming easier to read. I'm enjoying it again. I'm being able to read more at a time than before. So this is just my little update to say that the Psychosis Recovery Book Club is having positive effects. I'm really excited for next month when I'll be sharing my friend Mark Lyons' 2 books that he's given me. I'm very excited because he's another mental advocate that is near and dear to my heart. Hi, Mark, if you're out there. I hope you're looking forward to your own book review. That's all I have anyway. So I'm putting out these book reviews every first weekend of the month. If it's a 5-week weekend in the month, I might put it out the second weekend of the month like I'm doing this month. I think, if this keeps going, hopefully we can maybe start like sharing our own favorite books together. You can throw out suggestions for books you'd like me to review, or maybe you'll pick up one of these books yourself and read it on your own. Who knows? The hopes again is to improve our cognitive abilities one book at a time. So I'll see you all in the next one next month, first weekend of the month, with Mark Lyons' 2 books. Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks. So close your eyes.